Hi everyone, Gary Chavez here at Origins 2018. I'm here with Mike Warth and Craig Blythe, and they're the makers of Dwarven Smithy. So, guys, tell me what was the inspiration for Dwarven Smithy?
So we had started a couple different games, small games, and we were working with the Game Crafter. And of course, we had other games that we were working on. So it was Craig and I and another partner, Charles Sitting. And so I had a list of mechanics that I liked, but I never had any games that came up to use them. So I was on my way to work, and I looked down at my phone. I was at a stop light. I looked down at my phone, looked back up, and a dump truck almost hit me, but all it was trying to do was turn around a corner.
Yeah.
All I saw was Smitty's. So on the way, the next mile and a half to work, what I did is I thought of Smitty's, Smithy, which turned into actually Smiths, and that's dwarves.
Yeah.
What do I have in my collection of different mechanics I want to use? And it just kind of all came together in about 3 days.
Wow.
Between work, going to work, I would go outside and I worked on it. So I built a prototype. I told those guys about it, and we were already working on like 10 games.
Okay.
So this is another game that we're gonna, look at. We played it one night, and it was like, guys, this is our game.
Okay.
And after that, I would say like 85%, 90% of the game was done.
Yeah.
And then we spent the next 2 years getting the last 10%, which seems to be the way everything works, to actually get it right.
Sure.
So, and that's actually how we got the inspiration, was not almost getting hit by dump trucks.
Okay. So explain what kind of game Dwarven Smithy is.
So Dwarven Smithy is a tableau management game, which is unlike any other game that's out there. You are managing a hand size limit. You're managing, you have a card in the center. You're trying to manage a workshop. You're trying to manage your market. You're trying to decide which cards you're going to pull back to put up in the market to sell. So it's different, where you're all working around a center area and you're building a tableau and you're managing that tableau.
Okay. So you guys have your own company called Flatworks Gaming, is that correct?
Yep.
So it's you two. Is there anyone else involved?
Nope, just us right now. Okay. We had a partner, Charles Sitting. He left the company last year.
Okay.
And it's just Craig and I right now.
Okay, great. And I also noticed from your booth you got your sons involved in this.
Absolutely. I'll let Craig answer that one. So.
Our sons have been interested in gaming because we have always been interested in gaming. So whenever we play games, they play games.
Great.
What they do is give us a good gauge of where the game is doing good things and where the game is not doing. And if we can appeal to that younger generation, and that game can be generational, then it helps us in developing that game. And our sons, my son is 16 years old, but he's been playing it for the past 2 years, loves it. And it's something that comes very easy to him. In fact, I had a winning streak going. He broke my winning streak. So they
means
love
I've had a losing streak.
Right?
So.
But they also help us out with things that work and things that don't work.
Okay. So are they kind of honorary members of Flatworks Gaming, and they play test?
Heirs to the throne, right? So
absolutely.
On the back of the shirts, we should have put Heir 1, Heir 2.
Yeah, so whenever we, I guess, ride off into the sunset, I think that they will be making games, and that's something that we can kind of
sort of
pass
grooming
on
them to take this over.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So we got one son. You said was 16. What's his name?
Noah.
Noah, and who else is involved?
So my son Andrew's here. He's 15.
Okay.
Right. But he has another son, Zach, who plays games with us. My daughter, Courtney, is big into live action role playing, but she plays the games as well. And I think that helps us create games that connect to a lot more.
But the older, younger, it's playtesting is a big thing. So, trying it out on ourselves first, then you try it out on your family, and then you can let your baby go out into the world. Right?
Were they involved in design, or just more on the playtest side?
More on the playtest side.
Okay.
Once we had the design down, it took a lot of hammering out.
Sure.
The rules, what did work, what didn't work. When we would take it to them and they would play with us, we could see where either they were struggling or whether they weren't, or whether they really liked that mechanic. You could see by the look on their face.
And my son, at the very beginning for Dwarven Smithy, always said, I like Minecraft. I like building stuff. And a lot of games that I like to play, I like strategy games. I like Sid Meier's Civilization, on the computer. I like Ultima Online, just building stuff, crafting stuff, all those type of games. First-person shooter, I'm not very good. I'm just horrible with that. So when this game came out, a crafting game came out, I really enjoyed this. I brought it to Andrew. Andrew played it early on, so he was 13 years old. So he's a Minecraft. He's like, I kind of like this game because I can craft stuff and make stuff. So he was excited about it. It's like, good. All the way down to 13, that's good. 12 years old, you can play this game.
Okay, great. So how does the design process work between you two? Is there something that you both specialize in, or you both contribute equally, or you divide up the work? Or
I think sometimes I always started really close in, and Mike has taught me to look at the view from 50,000 feet. Let's look at the big picture, which has helped us take a big look at something and then start knocking it down to 50, to 30,000 feet, 20,000 feet. And as we get closer to kind of hone things in, my area of contribution is a lot of the theme, a lot of the names, a lot of the creative side of how we come up with the names of some of the weapons and stuff. So and Mike's has always been good with numbers. So where he was figuring out the odds, he was figuring out the balance. I mean, he did an amazing job balancing everything out. So I think our skills kind of help each other. Where I would create the theme and he would create the flow.
Okay.
So the design process. So in software, I'm an IT project manager. So there's an iterative process that you have. We, at the very beginning, we would always start with the idea. We would develop a little bit. We would try that method. We tried a waterfall method. We'd make a game, tear it apart. Make it a game, tear it apart. So we've done different processes on making games. But when we first started, we didn't know what we were doing. I was developing games when I was 15. And I've had 3 games since I was 20 that are still out there. World Diplomacy game. So
you can say it louder on the microphone if you want.
It's one of those games that it's never going to be made. It takes multiple days to do. And then when you go to big conventions and you start going and you notice there are gamers that want to those type of games. It could be multiple days and they will play it. It's a 12-hour game. They will still play. So in the design process, we started with Charlie. We decided we were going to go down, all right, you come up with an idea, then it would be developed, then we would bring it to the group. And if we would play it a few times, and if we didn't like it, it gets shelved, wait till later, and then we bring another one in. And so we had multiple games working at different times. We went through the Game Crafter, and we actually made games and sold games there. So our first 3 games were really small games. King's Tournament was one of them, and one of them was called Squadron Dice, and the other one was Ped War. And we sold these, we sold 30, 40, 50 copies of this. So we felt we could do this. But when Dwarven Smithy came around, we knew we had something different. So that wasn't a Game Crafter prototype type of thing. We were going to decide, let's really do this, bring playtesting in, read everything I could possibly read, tell these guys about it. We got to have playtesting. We got to think about manufacturing. We got to think about components. We got all this stuff that we have to think about, shipping. We have to think about all this stuff while we're making the game. Because if you're not thinking about what components are going in, if you're not thinking about how this game, who this game, the audience for your game is.
So you had Kickstarter in mind when you were making this, or developing
After we played it the first time, we were like, you know what? This is a Kickstarter type game.
Well, what made you decide that was a Kickstarter game as opposed to your other games?
So it was big. It was broad.
It was special. It was unique.
It's a feeling that you kind of a gut feeling.
Yeah, it's like nothing I had ever played before, and the game changes every time you play it. Your strategy changes before you start the game, while you're in the game, and every game is different. It's very, very special and unique, and that's what kept drawing us in. That's why we've been working on it for 2.5 years. The reason that we kept at it is because we knew the game was special, and if we kept refining it and kept working on it, we could make it one of those games where people just sit down, come in, sit down, and go, hey, let's play Dwarven Smithy.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is you can reach out to publishers, and it's also about means. Can you spend a little bit of money to make a prototype? Can you make it a really nice prototype? Do you want to invest your money into your game and then go to Kickstarter? Because nowadays on Kickstarter, you really have to have nice art. You're going to have nice video. You're going to have to really have a almost polished game to really hit hard. It just seems that way with Kickstarter. You're competing with hundreds of other projects.
Yeah.
So you have to bring your A game to it. When we were developing it, we're like, are we going to put money to this? Because we could do these. We got a space game we could have done. We got this other Easter Island Moai Mover type of game, right? We could have spent it in other areas. But it was a feeling. But the feeling was educational, though, because I've done Kickstarter games before. I had bought Kickstarter games. We've been playing for a long time, but we knew when we played it, it was something special.
Okay, like all of you
three
agreed
of us.
to it. That's great.
Absolutely. And we, in our company, we do all things with all in agreement.
Okay.
So if one person would have said no, we would have not have done it.
Okay.
And as we started play testing it, we were looking for that same type of feedback. Were people going to be disinterested in it? Were people not going to like it? But the feedback that we kept getting from everybody who play tested it was, wow, this is a great game.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a neat game. Can I buy this game right now?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we will, eventually you can. But some of the people who were playtesting it was like, I'll take a copy of this right now.
And when people start saying that, like I went out to Unpub and got their listing of feedback.
Sure.
So our friend Charlie, he fixed it all up, had a nice Flatworks Gaming on the front of it, and we made it nice, and we gave it to him. We asked a few extra questions. What was your favorite part of the game? What was your least favorite part of the game? How much would you buy? How much would you pay for this game? Information was really good by playtesting and then asking people, because they really want to help you with your game. So, of course, I know Excel and I know computers, so I put every person, every number.
Really?
So from 0 to 5. So I have every playtester who has ever put in, because we'd ask them, do you want your name in the rules?
Okay.
And if they put, they put in Howard Taft, they put H Taft, I put it in there as H Taft, however they wanted it. If they didn't want it, we respect it and get their feedback, and we wouldn't put it in. But I have all those numbers.
So you had surveys of all the playtests, and
Absolutely.
you diligently put all that information in Excel.
And then I averaged it. So I averaged it by total. I averaged it by male and female. I averaged it by not age, but I'd average it by group. This group from Sensicon, this group from Origins, this group from ArcadeCon.
Yeah.
And then I would pull out the numbers, and then I would do averages. Do women like it? Do men like it? Women, on average, like it better than men.
That's interesting.
Right? But there's always usually more men gamers. The age didn't matter. So when I think about it, when I think about older players, younger players, they were all the same. We never asked that question of age. But when I looked at it, and I remember faces. I might not remember people's name, but I'll remember your face. And I just looked back, and I was just like, it's everybody, younger kids and older kids.
Could you track the numbers as you were developing it?
Absolutely. And I use Google. If you're going to use something, use Google Drive. All of our numbers are there. Our master list of projects we were working on. Making a company, all of our documents were on G Drive, and it just made it so nice. To do that.
How far away do you guys live from each other? Are you close?
Right now we live about 4 miles at the north.
So you could pretty easily communicate with each other. It's not like you're coast to coast or anything like that.
We would start out meeting. When we first started meeting, we would all Skype in. So we would all Skype together, and then Mike at that point lived in Independence, so he was kind of farther away, and Charlie lived out farther. Well, Mike has since moved, so we live about 4 miles. So if I need to run over to Mike's house and we need to talk about something or run some numbers or take a look at something, it's right up the road. 5 minutes and I'm there.
Okay.
And for the longest time, for years back, our friend Charlie, we would meet at his dad's house.
Okay.
And we had a regular thing. Was it with Thursday night? It was almost every Thursday night we would meet. I mean,
for how long?
3-4 hours.
Okay.
I mean, it was a business meeting.
Okay.
We would have business about making the company and all the taxes and all the stuff we have.
Okay.
And then, that lasts about an hour, and then we play.
Okay.
And we would bring any idea. Craig would have an idea, Charlie had an idea. Sometimes we get, and it's only been a week, I haven't had time to prototype anything.
Yeah.
So we just sit and talk. We were all friends from middle school to high school.
Okay.
So we've known each other for a long. We get along really well. And but now, so it's me and Craig. We're just meeting at my place. Took a little time off. Now we're back to it, and because the Kickstarter takes a lot out of it.
I'm sure. Yeah.